That would be an ecumenical matter.
Hello and welcome to Ecumenical Matters, the Father Ted podcast. We're up to episode 16 now. We're actually getting quite high up here, Vince, aren't we? Yeah. Season 2, episode 10, Flight into Terror. And I'm really excited this week because we have two special guests. In the first, a couple of firsts this week, our first married couple, so our own John and Mary. And also the first people from down south as well.
Oh, really?
Yes. So,
accents.
Yeah. I think so, yeah. Leanne, well, yeah, Leanne was in the room, that's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
She was in the room.
She
contributed.
She contributed, yeah. Well, she did invent one of the features, the games room.
We grew up closest to Craggy Island.
Oh, really?
Probably, yeah.
This is right. You're getting closer.
But so who we have on the mic? You've heard their voices already. So we have Gerry Norman, who's from the band Plastic Rose, and you've got you had an album come out last year, Flickering Light. Is that right?
Flickering Light of an Inner War, yeah, available on iTunes.
Fantastic. For all very reasonable offers, I'm sure. And then we also have street artist Marian Noone. She's known as Friz. You'll know her work, Vince, and you probably don't even know you know her work. Do you know Sydenham Station?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do know all that artwork across on the other platform.
Vaguely.
Yeah, that's Marian's.
It's usually dark when I'm there, so.
Oh, okay, yes. And well, down beside, there's one down beside the shopping centre down there as well, isn't there?
Really?
Well, the side of Ryan's Bar.
The Ryan's Bar, yes, that's the one people recognise.
Oh, yeah, I
yes.
know that one.
Yeah,
I go to eat there all the time.
We're thinking of maybe starting a tour. Maybe get a
black taxi tour of
Frizz's
work.
Just Frizz's work.
Yeah.
There's actually a fantabulous street art walking tour run by Seedhead Arts,
Yes.
actually.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
No, but yeah, that's not just that's all street artists. I'm thinking just.
Oh, just
for Frizz.
And you could be hiding in the back, and then at the end of it, be like,
it was me all along. Yeah.
Because no one knows what to look like. Very good.
So this is the Flight into Terror episode. This is the last episode of season 2. So we've made it this far as well. So another bit of a milestone. Yes, thank you.
Nearly at the end altogether.
Exactly. There's only 6 more episodes. Christmas special in the roundup. So.
What am I going to do on my Sundays now?
Is that all there was? It was only 3 seasons.
Yeah, 25 episodes altogether. Yeah.
It's hard to believe, isn't it?
I know. Yeah.
Oh.
It had such an impact.
Yeah.
That it it sort of survived so much longer, or you think there's so much more. But this,
I suppose we've seen every episode about 100 times.
Well, probably,
yeah. And it's still hilarious.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, it's on More 4 every Sunday night. It's on. Yeah, we're watching it all 4, and it's you still watching, you're still laughing, like, and it's brilliant, like, it's brilliant. And like I suppose you were watching it when it was on TV first, I suppose.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Religiously.
Oh,
yeah.
No, I remember because it was on Channel 4, and I remember being in my next door neighbour's house. And I went in, and they were all gathered around watching the TV. They're like, shh, we need to watch this now.
Yeah.
I remember it being really, because it was on Channel 4 because RTE wouldn't pick it up or something like that.
That's
it's too touchy.
That's the rumour, but they've actually dismissed that rumour.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, Graham Lennon's been on a documentary and said
no,
we had no intention of ever giving it to them because they'd never done sitcoms before.
Yeah,
so they'd have no experience of it. So you'd be giving your work to people who had absolutely no experience and no background.
Limited outreach as well.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
True,
yeah.
At least Channel 4 is the entirety of the UK.
The whole of the UK, yeah.
I just remember the shock factor when it came out. Everyone was talking about the show with the priests, and it's like they do all these. Yeah. It's like, did you see that one? It's like the priests, but like they're not your usual priests.
Yeah.
Or they are.
They are.
Yeah.
That was the thing, yeah, because they were recognisable.
Yeah.
Like we said before, they were recognisable characters. They were just exploded for comic value, like.
Yeah.
But I think that was the appeal of it as well, because people our age, like, you probably remember, like, you just had to treat the priest with just such awe and reverence. Like, you could not say a bad word about the priest until this came out, and just sort of priests are idiots.
Fair game, like everyone else.
Exactly, yeah,
If a priest is an ass, you're going to hear about it like.
Exactly,
exactly.
And whether they deserved it or not is up for debate. But I had decent priests down in Fitna. Most of them were alright. Yeah, I think.
We had a priest who was clearly destined to be a priest. His name was Father Divine.
Really?
Yeah,
Nominative determinism then? Yeah.
Father Divine.
And was he? Did he enjoy being a priest?
He loves being a priest.
Oh, it's just perfect, just like Dougal. Yeah.
Just like Dougal. Yeah. That man he genuinely was born to be a priest. He's a lovely man. If you're listening, Father Divine, hello.
Hello, Father Divine. But yeah, so this is the episode where they go on a flight into terror, as the episode title goes. This is actually one of the descriptive episode titles. first thing you see when the screen opens up is just this big massive jumbo jet. Does anyone else think that jumbo jets look like sharks?
Yeah, good point actually.
And why has nobody made a livery of a plane that's just a shark?
Wasn't there?
That's Marian. That's your new job.
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
I'm pretty sure like some of the
Shamu
Spitfires.
There's a Shamu plane.
What's, the wheel?
Yeah.
Where's that?
It's in America somewhere. I don't know.
Really?
I didn't know that.
It's just a big plane painted like a wheel.
And is it like an airline company who's just done it or something?
I don't know. I just know it exists.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go then. But it looks more like a shark. They're more svelte.
Yeah, well, the plane from the outside, you know when you get onto a plane and you have to walk, and you're looking at it, they are terrifying things.
Yeah.
Until you get inside and everything's okay.
Yeah, they have a nice, nice white interiors. And stuff.
Everything's lovely, but yeah, I know whenever I get onto a plane, I'm just like, oh, Jesus.
Well, you're walking around the outside of the wing, and you see the massive engine. You think, Jesus, that thing starts spinning. It's going to start sucking me in.
We've all seen the first episode of Lost.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh, get away.
They were coming back from what was it, Mary on the 13th green.
Oh yes, Kilnettle.
Sorry, yes.
Yes.
Was that where they went? There was a shrine or something, was it?
There was, it was the 13th hole. There was a vision appeared of Mary.
Sorry, vision. Yeah, that's what.
Yeah,
it was,
just when he was about to take his golf shot and
Yeah.
So, but I was going to ask where do you think Kilnettle was, because it had to be as far away from Ireland as to require a jumbo jet.
Yes,
Well, I thought it was essentially just Lords, but not Lords, if you get me. You know, like they just.
Okay, yeah.
Just
That's
with
what I
jolly.
always thought it was sort of France, Spain, sort of somewhere like
Yeah.
that, you know.
Well, it's clearly there was some sort of conference or something because all the priests were on their way back home from it, and the fellas hadn't seen each other the whole time they were there, so it must have been
that's true.
absolutely packed, like
Yeah, I hadn't considered that. Yeah.
And the plane was actually populated by quite a few of the previous guest stars. So we had Father Dillon and Father Shanahan from last week's episode, who were the ones that were Fintan Stack started embarrassing, and then there's also the priest from Donegal. Now I can't remember his name. Sure, you wouldn't know him from Donegal.
Oh.
Yes, he was on the plane as well, and and obviously Father Noel Furlong and Father Fay had become friends at the golf course with his monkey. What do you think he would have been getting up to on the golf course?
Oh yeah, that's a good point actually.
It's kind
Climbing
of think
trees.
like
Yeah.
just monkeying around really. It's the only way to put it.
Exactly, yeah. He'd love to just flying around golf carts and everything, and yeah.
He's one of the most bizarre characters, isn't he?
Yeah,
He's
Like,
definitely the most outlandish character on it, I
Yeah.
think.
Because it's just kind of like, and like because of Father Ted, you don't pay attention to it. I'm literally just after thinking about it, like, what a strange character.
yeah. But everyone can understand him,
Yeah,
except us. Except
it's sort of like-
siblings, yeah.
it's like
What is it?
Chewbacca and Han Solo.
Yeah.
When he's reading out his piece at the end, Father Noel, he's just like, oh, beautiful.
Yes, yeah. Yes, that really touching essay he had written in order to get his parachute. But yeah, so we sit down in the plane and Jack just takes a seat rather aggressively.
Yeah.
And he just sits down and starts annoying the guy beside him. Probably was earning that punch over the course of the episode.
He
I
did
think.
have the
Yeah.
kind of face you want to
Yeah.
hit anyway. He's just annoying, yeah.
Just that know-it-all who's just so above himself, like, and perfectly played. Actually, I thought that actor just got that absolutely nailed down perfectly, like. So,
Mate, he's not wrong. But he's still a twat.
He's still a
yeah, exactly.
He was completely right in what he's saying the whole way through, but he's still a twat.
Well, getting his housekeeper pregnant and
Yeah.
forcing her to leave the country, maybe not
Well,
so much.
okay.
Yeah.
Those
To be fair,
shining moments.
I haven't seen the episode in a while. I only seen the first half there. So,
That's sort of refreshing. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so I didn't remember that part, but at the start, before his punch, he was fine.
Yeah, what he was saying to Jack, because
Yeah.
to be fair, Jack was
Being a twat
yeah,
as well.
he'd be the nightmare person to sit beside on a plane.
Oh god.
Like
yeah.
he's probably absolutely reeking as well. Like
It-
and
yeah.
Normally,
just sitting there
like,
smoking and
I'm a little bit
Punching it.
disgusted by him, but that was the first time I've actually probably seen it and actually felt a little bit sick. Just from like the breathing and the way he's
Yeah.
Yeah.
the cigarette and all hanging out.
stop
It's just
breathing like
like,
that. You're making a noise.
You're making a noise.
But there must have been good medical facilities on the plane because he got his wound
Yeah,
dressed up
yeah,
pretty
Sure
well,
he
didn't
did.
he?
Yes, he did.
So that was their. I didn't get his name. Was there a name for him?
I don't know. I've
No.
only seen the first half.
Well, I think it was Shay or Father O'Shea.
Father, yes, Father O'Shea. It must have been yes.
Jack kind of, after that, kept fairly quiet for a while.
He did, yeah. He kept it himself. I suppose he had peace then, as long as he had the bar coming through.
Yeah, that's right.
What I thought was bizarre is that there was no air stewards or co-pilot on the plane.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, it was a bit of a tin pot operation, wasn't it? Yeah.
There was a guy standing right beside the toilet in the first class toilets.
There was, yes.
Yeah.
They're getting their first class sorted, but not the rest of it. Then, yeah.
That was
Call
just
that sorted though?
Well,
Taking a tinkle in someone's stern?
yeah, I was going to say, what is he supposed to sit there while they're actually going to the toilet?
If it's a guy, maybe holds it for him, I don't know.
know.
Lines it up.
That is service. That's good service. Yeah.
that was a weird scene that just kind of popped up
It was, yeah.
and then just
Disappeared.
disappeared.
It didn't seem to fit in the episode at all. I didn't think, but it.
Don't know, I think it kind of fits with the theme of the show because we always talk about how they always do that one like visual gag every now and again. Yeah, and I think that was just meant to be the idea. It was just maybe a stupid visual gag, and that was it.
Yeah.
But it didn't. Yeah, well, that was it. It was just a self-contained
Yeah.
it didn't pay off or anything.
No.
It was what it was.
Yeah, exactly. And the next thing you just saw Ted actually in the actual toilet.
Yeah.
And
there was no like joke about
yeah,
it.
exactly. It was just he had to go to the toilet and then he went to the toilet. And I was like,
Makes you think we were all the first class passengers during all this as well.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they must have just block booked the plane. There's a famous story now. I don't know how true it is, but about Richard Branson. He was a record company owner when he first started. When he started Virgin Records, and anyway, he was. They were stuck on a Caribbean island or something, and for whatever reason, the flight got cancelled. And so he just booked. He just phoned up and chartered a flight, and just said Virgin Airlines, $200 whatever it was. If he divided up, he cost it. And yeah, somebody got off the plane the other side. He goes, "This Virgin Airlines is great," and it goes ding, and that's where the Virgin Airlines came from. So somebody must be doing something similar here. I think that pilot, because he doesn't seem very confidence inspiring, did he?
No,
No.
and I don't think he would. I don't think he'd be up there with the best actors ever in.
No, he didn't.
In Father Ted.
No, he did stick out a bit. The actor, like he was trying to do. I think he was trying to do some like action cliche, and he seemed to be missing the mark everywhere.
He was trying to do something that wasn't quite getting across. But like Father Ted's great for that as well. Like because a lot of the time the acting's not great, but it doesn't matter.
Well, exactly. So most of them were comedians. That was in it. You see, so as long as they could play their part well, that's all it needed. You see,
exactly.
So, but like they have like in previous episodes, like Bishop Brennan is like he's got Olivia Awards and everything, and and obviously Pauline McLynn's a very decorated actress, and so this I don't know, just oversight here I think. So
I think it works. Like that's the thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
You can afford to skimp on like the lower end actors,
Yes,
like the ones that are going to
exactly,
be there for like moments.
Yeah. Well, that actor's actually dearly departed now. He died in 2011, actually. Yeah. So, but he's from Newry, that guy.
Yeah.
I take it all back.
Yeah. That's all right.
Nah, it doesn't change that he was shit.
Yeah. He's not gonna hear you now. Like,
That's good.
unless they're right all along.
It's a great visual gag for an audio podcast.
Looks to the heavens. Yeah.
Once for yes, twice for no.
So Ted had a horrible nickname he was pretty embarrassed about. Father Fluffy Bottom, because of all his downy fluff.
What was your nickname?
My nickname?
You had to have had a nickname, especially with chops like that.
No, well,
Side of your face.
This is very recent. These sideburns. This is only the last since I've been
Had them from when you were a baby.
No.
There's a visual for you there.
Yeah. It used to be called Dougal, funnily enough. I think I've said this. My rugby team.
So this is a kind of a lifelong obsession.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's come full circle now. And I'm basically trying to excise it from my life because if I just
get this done,
that's it. Never mentioning Father Ted again. No, I was playing rugby, and the first training session, there's hundreds of people just sort of showed up at uni, and somebody I had the ball and somebody just goes, what's his name, and the other guy goes, just call him Dougal. So when he said Dougal, I just passed the ball to him, and so that stuck, and it could be worse. Like I could have had Mr. Fluffy Bottom.
Well,
or
this is true.
what was the other one? Joe
Himalaya Joe.
Himalaya Joe, yeah.
Himalaya Joe.
Which turned out to be a medical issue.
That's right.
Yeah. Ted had a few issues with medical issues today when he didn't realise the guy was blind either.
A few awkward moments.
He did, yeah. He sort of jumps in with both feet and just insults everyone, doesn't he? And
the king of the awkward moment. He got in there way before Ricky Gervais.
Exactly, yeah, exactly. And well, we have mentioned like how many different types of comedy they've had, and like they were cringe comedy well before
The Office.
Yeah, they just touched everything. And Ted just kept digging the hole. It's like, right, so is that a lifelong thing, or is
and the other senses, they hide. Your sixth sense. Well, your fifth.
And did you see what he was listening to? Is radio comedy.
Oh yeah.
It was Mr. Bean.
Oh, Mr. Bean, yeah. And he just like
it's
brilliant.
a silent comedy.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you ever watch Mr. Bean?
Yeah, you must. I
didn't click that.
Purely visual.
Absolutely. I have yet, but I didn't click that when I was watching the show. That's brilliant.
But it was a tiny little joke. It sort of got buried in because of the scene it was in and everything. But Mr. Bean used to be great. It's one of the most successful sitcoms from Britain because it travels everywhere. Like it goes beyond the language barrier, and because it's just big physical comedy. Like it has.
That's one of my favourite dramatic scenes in it, when his car gets run over by a tank at the end of an episode, and he's just so distraught. Yeah, Mr. Bean. His car gets run over by a tank. He's just sitting there so distraught. And it turns out I don't think it actually was his car. I think it was someone else's.
Oh,
but it just looked like it. But he's like near in tears and like falling to his knees and all. And I was actually genuinely upset for him. It's so sad.
Proper Willem Dafoe in Platoon sort of.
That's why like his lip was quivering and everything. He looked like a child about to cry.
Well, I've only seen about 4 or 5 episodes.
Serious?
Yeah, Mr. Bean. I think they're on VHSs or something.
So good.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back to that.
Yeah, just dive in and see because they're good for putting on. Like Ash, who's been on the podcast before, he's just puts them on before going out.
Yeah.
And he said when his friend did this first, he's like, "What are you putting that on for? You can't even hear it. There's no." And he said, "Oh, it's perfect because you can be drinking and then when you can just look around and something funny's happening." Yeah. So
don't pay attention.
Exactly.
Perfect for you.
And then Ted, we might have to start Ted's library because he's got another book here. Did you know what it was?
With Barrymore.
Michael Barrymore's back in business.
God,
and this was before Michael Barrymore's the tragedy in his life. Somebody,
the swimming pool.
Yeah, somebody died in a swimming pool, and he
yeah.
basically got castigated from TV, and he's just never been seen since. And it's
he was on Celebrity Big Brother years later.
That's right.
I think he tried.
George Galloway was on that. You know, like every now and then you get sucked into those type, like X Factor or something. You try your best to avoid it, but I am sort of like if I see the first 1 or 2 episodes, then I actually get totally sucked in.
Oh, that bitch! Why did she do that? I hope she gets kicked out today.
I try not to, I try to avoid it usually, but I did see some of that. I remember.
Apparently, they had a big massive argument on that, did they?
Yeah, I think they did, and George Galloway was like, "Oh, pour me another drink" type thing. It was a real dig at like all of his issues that he's had, and everyone was like, "Oh, no, not cool."
George Galloway was taking the piss out of him for that.
Yeah, that he said he kind of made that jibe. That's all I
remember
right. from it.
Well, Michael Barrymore, he got a tough deal because like somebody died at a party he was having, and it wasn't him that killed the person. Like,
I know, yeah.
The guy drowned because he was probably drinking too much or something, or on harder stuff maybe. But it's like he got completely castigated, and
but take someone just stupid like that, and I say stupid, but it takes something like that and it'll just ruin their entire career.
Yeah, well, it did, because he hasn't been seen since. And
even though it wasn't his fault, as I said, but
yeah.
The same happened to the Rolling Stones with a member of the Rolling Stones years ago.
Brian Jones.
Yeah, died in a swimming pool, but they did alright after that.
Yeah. So it was just in the wrong industry. If it had been in the rock and roll industry, it'd be like getting points for that.
Instead of presenting Supermarket Sweep or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Oh no, that was Deal.
Was that Dale? Yeah, sorry.
Have you been in the supermarket and heard the beep? You can think of the fun you could be having.
So what was the other priest that came up while he was reading and he was whispering something into his ear and he goes, "Oh no, I haven't got there yet." Was that just by being gay or something? Was it?
I guess so. Yeah, I guess so because I did check to see if that happened afterwards. So the swimming pool thing happened after this episode. So obviously I wasn't talking about that. So it must have been if it had come out yet. But
is Michael Barrymore gay?
Yeah.
Well.
I think that's what a lot of the rage was because he was having a gay party. And
well, that changes everything. I never knew that.
Yeah, well, Daily Mail readers can't handle my TV celebrities having parties like this.
Yeah,
I get the impression that's what a lot of what happened as well.
Yeah.
So
I had no idea about that.
Poor Michael.
Oh, you learned that now.
Yeah. Well, there you go then. See, didn't colour your opinion of him at all.
Yeah.
Do you know?
Just the fact that he let a man die in his pool, that did.
Yeah.
Just let him.
Yeah.
Go ahead. All right.
He's like Dougal was at the gift shop on his way out, And he was very defensive of his joke telephone. No, Ted, it's a joke telephone.
Actually, I was really noticing that rewatching it, how it's a prop they keep grabbing off each other to make their point, and it just keeps going over and back
and forth
between
and
them.
back and forth. Yeah.
Yeah.
And but he was very defensive. He got very upset when Dougal or when Ted was telling him, "No, it's a dog's toy. How can you not see this?"
It's not Ted. The dog's just happy.
Because he thinks he sees somebody making a phone call.
I love the picture. It's like an 80s colouring book cover or something. It's a really, really dated illustration. It's brilliant.
And then, of course, Ted was collared by the phone on a couple of occasions.
Exactly. So it did work. And Ted brought his own souvenir.
I love it.
Yeah, the little little golf club.
I could just imagine the prop department just having so much fun making that and figuring it out. And it looks like everything you can get in Knock.
Yes, exactly. Is Knock's down your way, isn't it?
Yeah, between on the way to Galway. And if you're going from Sligo,
Do you go? Have you been before? We spoke
about
it last week.
School brought you.
Oh, did they? Oh, God, right.
Yeah,
it's a terrifying place.
Yeah, it was. I was there when I was 8 or 9 or something, and it was just holy water bottles everywhere.
Yep.
I was there recently, about maybe 2 or 3 years ago. My auntie and uncle were flying in from England for a wedding, so I went out.
There's an airport there.
Yes.
Of course, there's and they're very religious, so they wanted to go and check out Knox, so they went and I went and grabbed a burger for a couple of hours or something. But yeah, it's just thousands of people walking the streets and it's like being overwhelmed.
And is it always packed? Is it, or is there certain times of the year? Or?
Well, see, no, it's kind of bypassed now. So you used to have to drive through it. So
right.
Get your little drive through down. There's a souvenir street, and they're basically all the shops are selling souvenirs.
So is there a Gardaí or something at the gate with like a holy water font?
Just like it's like a festival, but for mass. So people are queuing up to get into the next mass and all that. And there's chairs like benches outside the church and all, and PA systems and all, because sometimes it'll be too many people.
Right, because there's not enough to fit in there's not enough seats in the church.
I'd imagine
they had a great time.
It's not as popular as it used to be.
Older people.
Yeah, I mean, like you drive through it and it's all like, like retirement-y type estates, you know.
Just getting there, just hedging their bets just in case.
Oh, my aunt and uncle had a great time. They loved it. Oh, absolutely loved it.
If it rows your boat, like, you know what I mean?
That's exactly it, yeah. But not exactly a kind of a young person's spot for the weekend or anything like that.
We mentioned the Christy Moore song on the last podcast as well, so because somebody had the idea of building an airport in Knock. But the little golf thing was perfect. It was like a little visual representation of...
Put a coin in there.
Yeah, on the 13th hole they got all the details right as well. But how do you think they did it then? Because we have mentioned the props department before. Because it looks like just a biscuit tin or something.
Yeah.
Or as we switch at the bottom, Dougal flicks and he puts it on.
Yeah. But Ted does mention sarcastically how amazing it is.
Yeah.
It looks so good.
It'd be so easy to make it cheap and tacky.
That's the best thing about it. Yeah. And it is. I quite like all religious iconography, but I love that sort of tacky. The tackier the better.
Oh yeah. Well, there's that wee shop on Castle Street. Do you know the one?
No.
Just across the way from the church. And it's just everything looks like really, really cheap plastic. Like it is
gaudy.
Just
beautifully gaudy.
Yeah. It's holy.
It's holy. It's holy. Yes, it's been blessed. Yeah.
So you just spend tenner instead of £2.
So what they need to do? They need to modernise, right? So the priest just needs to bless a 3D printer. And they can knock these things out.
Everything that comes out.
Yeah. And then 100 a minute and you're sorted.
What's the lyric from the Bell X1 song?
It's a little all over the shop, like those little souvenirs from Knock that come all the way from China.
Yeah.
Very good.
You should go to Knock, by the way. If you ever get a chance.
Like I said, I have been. I might go venture back at some point. I do need to do another tour of Ireland.
It's a bizarre experience. Yeah. Just walk around for like 20 minutes and just be like...
Have you been to the Father Ted house? I'm sure you probably covered this at some point.
No, I haven't. Wow. It's in Clare, and it's. Have you been down there as well?
Yeah, we did it.
Yeah.
It was our honeymoon.
Oh, your honeymoon? Oh, that's right. Yeah.
that was like the number one for us, was to get to that house, and it's such a amazing experience whenever, because it takes ages to find it.
Right, it's just out in the middle of nowhere, is it?
Your sat nav only brings you a certain. You'd start asking locals, and they
had that look when you start driving slowly up towards them, and they go,
Yeah.
Father Ted House. Oh, okay. I don't know what. Maybe it's the owners don't want it to be signposted because it is a private house, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But when you turn that corner and you see it for the first time, you literally are like. Yeah. And then you take a photo, you're there for 5 minutes, and you're like, okay.
The theme tune,
that's it.
The theme tune literally just starts singing in your head.
Yeah. So really, you need a drone or a helicopter to come in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We came from the kind of the wrong end, didn't we? Kind of.
Yeah, if you approach it from further south, you get there quite quickly, relatively quickly
and
from civilization. If you get
from
the
left rather than we kind of came from.
If you're coming from Galway, you just.
Are you sure you're at the Father Ted house and not Father Cyril's house? The Rugged Island house, which is just the exact same, just from the other angle. Yeah. But Leanne was mentioning it. The other Free Stater, the other Mexican. She actually lives down there, so.
The bird. It's a lovely place as well because.
Oh God, yeah. There's a bird. Doing something.
Jesus, are they?
Two birds.
The birds are literally writing.
Are they making more birds?
Well, they're done now.
No, I think they wouldn't be done had we not disturbed them.
Yeah,
they have an audience.
Performance anxiety of the from pigeons sitting perched on lamps, street lamps.
But yeah, definitely you need to do that. So on your way to the burn is something to see as well. It's crazy. It's rocks
in Clare. Is
that
that
mountains of rock?
Is that where the beach is? Do you know when he has a picnic? Is that what that is?
That's the burn.
Right. Okay.
No,
yeah.
The scene with the ship. Is it at the start?
No.
Oh,
do you know the stolen whistle? Yes.
Yeah, that's the
no
burn.
swearing.
Yes.
Yeah. So where their house is, behind the house, you can actually see there's loads of rocks.
Right.
In a mountain. Yeah. But so when you're driving to get to the house, it's the weirdest thing ever. It's literally like mountains, but are just like stones and rock everywhere.
Right.
Everywhere, but we didn't get to where they had the picnic. I would have loved to get to that.
Yeah, get your Snapchats there and
stuff.
stuff. Yeah. No swearing.
Yeah, but I think it's close by. And,
oh, fantastic! Yeah, we should do a tour at the end. Maybe that's what we'll do. So we have to do a special episode at the end. We'll round up everything. So I might have to. I'll have to go somewhere.
Book in for tea in the house.
Yes.
In the actual house.
You can actually go in, but it'll ruin it for you because it doesn't look like it.
If in the inside it's all
normal house.
I did the documentary. I think they had it, and the house is just like modern interior, isn't it? Wooden floors and everything.
We didn't. We decided not to go in. We just took a photo, and there was people there before we got there, and then there's more people there arrived, and when we were leaving, there was more people coming. This was October.
Right, so even when it's
and it was midweek, it was like a Wednesday or something.
It's not promoted or anything, and people are just like.
And people are still making their way.
Yeah, there must have been
a long way
like
out of their way.
People there when we got there. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
It's crazy. Like.
See, it does show like the longevity of it, like
and the impact.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The poor people must be tortured now. It's like.
Yeah. Oh, you have to go. Have you gone to the annual festival?
The Ted Fest. I'm trying to get in touch with them about possibly doing an episode, but I haven't been to it yet. No, it's actually on.
It's on the Iron Islands.
Iron Islands, is it? That's off Galway, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we have to do that at some stage.
Yeah.
And
you could do the soundtrack.
Yeah. Bring the guitar and just do.
Yeah. Well, you can do our theme tune that Ash transposed for us.
That's what that was. I was thinking that's Ash.
So Ash is a guy who sometimes does tech. He techs the
not the rock band Ash.
Oh no.
I was like, that was some going fair play.
It's Tim Wheeler and no, it was just it was my housemate from the old house, and he sorted us out with our theme tune and everything. So, and he'll be helping us out on our culture night, by the way. I do need to announce this.
Do you want to do that?
Well, he'll be on the tech desk.
So what exactly is going to happen?
So, we're going to have people are going to be milling past, hopefully, and we'll have people invited. So hopefully people will dress up. That's an invitation to the audience, by the way.
Do I have to watch my wife?
Oh yeah, the congregation.
Yes, you'll have to dress up and everything as well.
No, I said they have to watch my wife.
Oh. We'll have to check on that.
Maybe.
You can be Mrs. Doyle. Yeah.
I'll do.
Yeah. So yeah, and there's a spare seat open, by the way. So if you're, are you doing in culture night at all?
Oh yeah.
You are. You're painting.
I'm painting, yeah.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
And yourself, are you?
I think so. Yeah.
Fantastic.
There's a few things.
See, the thing is, when you're actually doing something like it, you can't see anyone else's stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what sort of time we're going to be on that?
Still checking. It'll be about 7 o'clock.
That's about right. I'll make sure I can get out on time for it.
Grand, yeah, grand. Well, we'll have the meeting off the mic. Yeah.
How are you getting there?
Yeah.
Well, if I'm at work, I'm literally just going to run across
Just
the
run
road.
across the road, perfect. Hello, in your Mrs. Doyle costume at work.
Oh,
Yeah, perfect. But yeah, so to get back to the episode.
I'd say that happens a lot, does it?
Yeah. Sometimes we went on like 25-minute detours, but as long as we come back at some point, it's grand. So we had a call from Larry Duff. He's getting very.
That's right.
He's not even getting to the point where he can answer the phone now.
Yeah.
He's proper a curse. So Ted said he was afraid of being trampled by donkeys. Or
There was more chance of being trampled
Yes,
by
that was it.
donkeys
Yes.
than down in an airplane.
And what had happened to him, we can only assume, is that he was trampled by donkeys.
Donkeys,
Yeah.
indeed.
It's
Couldn't reach the
heavily
phone.
implied.
Yeah. So he still hasn't died yet, and
Fair play to
yeah,
him.
exactly.
Yeah.
If anyone's going to kill him, that would be quite high on the list, because we've implied there's an ejector seat on his car. That's why he survived the cliff fall.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas getting trampled by donkeys, that's there's at least broken ribs, if nothing else. Punctured
Well,
lungs.
his hand had looked pretty screwed when
And mangled,
he
yeah.
was trying to reach for the phone.
I love the whole idea. Imagine just being that guy. It's like very rarely appears in the show, but imagine every time he gets a call, he's just like, "How am I dying this time?"
Yeah.
That one looks pretty, like he basically has to lie in a big pile of mud
Yeah.
and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's Ireland. It's not going to be warm.
Yeah.
Like it's going to be miserable and cold.
Cold, freezing mud.
Yeah.
But like
Jesus.
at the same time, like to be involved in the show, but like hardly ever doing any scenes with any of the other
Yeah.
actors. So it's quite an isolated
exactly,
role.
yeah.
Like you just come in and we'll shoot it, and
Yeah.
Reckon enough, he doesn't actually share screen time with any of them.
Ever?
yeah.
Yeah.
It never happens, does it?
I don't think so. No.
I guess even like this episode, which is a big gathering of pretty much all the characters.
Yeah,
you've
and he's
seen,
still
not-
and he's
still
still
not
not
there.
there.
Yeah.
But they still make a way for him to shine in the episode.
Well, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
There's loads of classic Father Ted things happening there, right? That number one, and that really kind of dry, literal comedy. It's like there's more chance of being trampled by.
Yes.
And then straight away.
Nobody would think that's a joke. Telephone.
Yeah.
Actually, Dougal is one of those people I hate on a flight, where he's like, "Oh, imagine the bottom of the plane just dropped out."
Oh,
and
yes,
it's like, have you ever sat beside somebody and they're talking about like, I was watching this show last night about planes crashing and stuff, and you're sitting there strapped in, ready to take off. And you're like, I hate you. I just want to turn around and like smack you.
That's fucking Teresa does that.
Sure,
She's sitting there. Me and Teresa were going to her graduation a couple of years ago, in Liverpool.
Right.
And literally the night before, she's sitting there looking at like videos and articles about planes crashing.
I did that once.
And she's terrified of flying. It's like, what the fuck are you doing?
Why are you adding to this?
I thought, yeah.
See, you must get in planes a lot because you'll be touring and everything.
Yeah. So it's grand, but like I remember, I don't know why it was years ago, and it was during when like these pilots were like just like crashing the planes themselves, like.
Right.
So I kind of I read a few stories about pilots who had gone on suicide.
Murder suicide.
Murder suicide.
In the Alps,
And just
or
because it's really hard to crash a plane. Even a pilot, like you actually have to.
Really?
No
no.
type.
You have to put so much pressure on because if you let it go, the plane will come back up and just fly itself. And all.
Right,
So you
right.
really have to be proper. That's why planes are so safe, because they can actually like fly themselves and all.
Yeah.
So they maintain like a cruising altitude or something, or
Yeah, I think 20 something things have to go wrong with a plane.
Yeah,
Right.
a
Before
lot
it
has to go
actually,
wrong.
like
So-
a lot has to go wrong with a plane.
Right. Okay. I didn't
So
know
you
that.
are out there, you are more likely to be trampled.
Well, I have no problem with flying.
Yeah,
Like,
that's.
it's I've pop over to London. I could pop over to Edinburgh in a couple of weeks just for a day, and then popping back. But there's one time, remember the Great Winter of 2010? I was coming in. I was coming in into Belfast Airport, City Airport there, and plane came down, and it was really foggy on the ground level. So I don't think the pilot. I think the pilot might have misjudged where the ground was, because it sort of hit the ground,
Right.
and then as soon as he hit the tarmac, he almost immediately did like a handbrake into the side of the into the lane where he was supposed to taxi off. Yeah.
Tokyo drift with your plane.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Just put the tail out. Yeah. But and if you go on planes in America, people start clapping. A routine landing, people
really?
start clapping.
Yeah, but Americans clap for everything. They go to the cinema and clap at the end.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
it's
that's
not.
true.
It'd be fine if like the actors were there or something, but they're not.
Yeah.
It's like, what are they clapping for when the plane lands? It's the job of the guy doing it.
Yeah, well, job well done.
Yeah, it very rarely happens here, but I remember one time we were going over to play a gig in England or something, so like really short flight, like less than an hour, and I was giddy, and I turned on to Troy, and as soon as the plane landed, I was like. And the whole plane, everyone was just like, they knew I was only taking a piss, but they were all like,
you learned them all the serenade to the pilot.
Always entertaining me.
I went to school with Troy, you know.
No way!
Yeah, he was in my year group. And,
deadly.
I haven't spoken to him in a while, but I saw him at home the other day.
He's in good form.
Good man, yeah.
He was at a wedding the other day, actually, that's right.
I was pestering to get in this as well at some point, so...
Do.
Yeah, I will.
I'll tell him I've done it, and then he'll go, yeah, cool.
Yeah, see, now you guys have done it's going to be cool now.
Yeah, well, I could be lining up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We've only got 6 episodes left. Where were you when I needed you? But yeah, no, I must get back in touch with Croy. I'm doing an episode later, the Own a Glove episode with Keith Cathers. Do you know him? He's from the Logs.
Oh,
yeah, so he's going to be doing this, and he's from Castledorg, so I was thinking maybe of pairing them two up. But they went and they had their essay contest for who owns the parachute.
Well, I think I should get the parachute because I'm great. In fact, I think I should get both the parachutes in case one of them doesn't work.
Not a popular one, Joe.
Which one was your favourite of the essays?
Oh no, it's like one of my favourite quotes from the entire thing, and I still use it, even though I used the context of it. Was like, I think I should get the parachute because I'm great.
Yeah.
She really she says this all
I
the
love
time.
it because it's so smug, it's so brilliant. Like,
but he thinks that people are gonna like it.
Yeah.
You know, that's the thing about it. He's just like.
Or even like when he's the one that's talking, he's saying hi to Ted at the start, and he's all about cheer. You know, there's people like that. They're so cheery to your face, and you know the minute they turn away from you, they just the smile is gone. It's just snaps on and snaps off, and it's
says Adam, we will burst out laughing.
Exactly, yeah, exactly. You just see his face, just sort of, yeah.
and just walks on.
I was working at Ascot over the summer there, Royal Ascot, and it's a very posh part of the race course where the plebs weren't allowed in or anything. And there was like a greeter, and she was sitting there. Yes, no, thank you. Yes. And then everything just dropped as soon as she stopped talking to people. It was like.
I love that. Is that the second Toy Story or the first Toy Story where Barbie is saying bye to everyone? She's like, bye now. And she's like, oh my god, my cheeks are killing me. And she's just like,
yeah, it's like, I'd hit one of those jobs where you have to just constantly smile. I was doing littering, so I was supposed to be like, have a cheery and upbeat personality, but at least you don't have to be, constantly have a smile pinned back, like.
Yeah, it's like that though, when he went into the kitchen, that was like.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Oh, we had the confession of love in the scene, didn't we?
Oh yes, that's right, yes. Brilliant. And that also actually ties into our Meet the Maker, because that was Graham.
That's right.
Graham showed up, and I mentioned before in the podcast, I thought Arthur was in this episode, but he's not. I thought he was filling up one of the seats.
Is he in any episodes?
He's actually winning 6-3 over Graham. We've been keeping count. So
I wouldn't know what he looks like actually.
He's what's the best one to? He was the one, the Fuppin Baxter. That was him. Yeah. So I was listening to a commentary of Big Train, and they were saying they always got him just to be shouty. Because he shouts really well. So you fucking Baxter! So
Big Train's something that we need to go back and watch it.
Yeah, definitely. So I was thinking of doing that for the next podcast, so if possible. So I'll keep you informed and get you back on.
You ever do a space one?
No masturbation in the office.
I keep saying
is that the one?
Yes,
you're not like masturbate in the office. Just
No.
like this is a disgrace.
But yeah, so we had the smug bastard who was sitting beside Jack,
Oh yeah.
who wanted to know who owns the copyright, and I think that was a bit of an insider writery joke, because basically I know this from writers groups and stuff. Writers get really, really paranoid that people are going to steal their ideas. Okay. Now it does happen, but like first thing there's a competition or something on. The first thing people inundate the competition holders with is. Who owns the copyright? Do I still maintain this?
Really, yeah.
And it's got to the point now where they're just saying it up front. You will maintain the copyright unless you win the contest. Like, and yeah, so I think that was just sort of insider jive. But I think that it was supposed to be maybe a specific writer or just writers in general.
I was thinking that was kind of like a little unusual as well. Just kind of like the toilet thing. Just kind of came. And was just like, what the hell was that?
Yeah. But I think that must. I'm not sure if it was a writer in particular, but it was definitely because he got his laptop out. He was like, "Can I write it on my laptop computer?" And this was 1996 when that would have been about £1,500 or something to get a laptop. Probably got it weighed about friggin' Like 10 kilos as well. How do you get him on the plane? It'd be over his limit. Yeah.
It scrambles up the radar, but you're all going to die anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Fair enough.
That was my first thought whenever Ted went to make a phone call.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Shouldn't be using electronic. How do you even get a signal?
Well, that's the other thing. Like you can't get. I think mobile phone signals generally go like sideways. They don't go up. Like they don't. Because that'd be a waste of energy if they direct them upwards.
Still got a limited range as well.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. But we'll never know.
Thousands miles in the air.
Yeah.
Moving
artistic freedom when they're writing the episodes.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, we have been trying to pick holes and everything just to bring it down out of its pedestal a bit.
I'd say the writers are like, no, fine, well, and they're just going, I don't care. Let's just give them a big phone on a plane.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's part of the thing of it. They're just like, it doesn't need to make sense for the
cares,
sake of a joke.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well,
it's
I mean,
comedy,
even I think I suppose I was watching it a little bit more critically because we were going to be discussing it. But even the fact that like Ted is basically, it's like you open a hatch and the wheel is there, and that there's not actually layers to the plane. It's just like, oh, there it is, and all the clouds and everything coming up through
the pilot hadn't put a landing gear on or anything. Like, come on, who writes this stuff? I hope someone got fired for that.
We just need some sellotape.
Yes, that was. I haven't actually mentioned the sellotape that he also got in the gift shop.
Oh yeah.
You have used 1 inch of tape. God bless you.
and there's at least 3 inches there.
Yeah, exactly. And it turns out, of course, saving the day because that's what he fixed the fuse line with, or the fuel line with.
So maybe God did save the day after all.
Possibly.
Holy
yeah.
sellotape.
Yeah.
Holy sellotape.
Oh,
do you remember that bit? Oh, it was brilliant. Graham Lennon stands up and he goes, what about
a good old pray?
And all the priests were just like, shut up.
Yeah. They were embarrassed for him. They were just like hiding their head and.
Ted said something about Slayers, like something. Was it just a lock or something like that? After it's just like, you idiot.
Yeah. Well, anyway.
Yeah. I think that's what it was.
So Ted climbs out onto the wheel of the moving plane at high speed. Probably, we've already mentioned the engines. There's four engines within touching distance of him. But he clings onto this wheel, which is a very dangerous thing to do, as you can imagine.
And you can hear him perfectly.
Yes. Yeah. Well, see, as somebody who works in acoustic, I'm sure you know about the the reflected sound and everything.
Yeah,
and,
of course.
Of course.
This is actually genius writing as well, because Ted goes on about his fear of flying all the time. And then he makes the point that, but now that we are in an emergency situation, I feel no fear.
Yeah.
And next while he's on the wing.
Yeah. As soon as he gets it sorted out, it's like, what am I doing on the fucking wheel?
That's genius, it's so good.
I'm going to put that down as line of the show in the absence of anything better. What do you reckon, Vince?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, unless he's other nominations.
It kind of comes down to his ego there as well, though.
It's
like his moment to shine. Everybody's in danger and Ted's like, I'll do it.
Well, he is.
And then when he realizes what the hell he's doing, he shits himself.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, the pilot sort of nominates him. He comes up and asks him, "Do you know what a jet wrench 3-ply short stick is?"
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He just comes in with all this technical jargon.
I started too big.
Yeah. I know what he did there. See, that was one of the ones I felt that it fell a bit flat because. It didn't deliver it right or something.
Yeah, the actor.
I don't know if it was the actor.
Actor,
yeah. But
sorry. Rest in peace.
That poor man alone.
He's got bigger fish to fry now, I think. Yeah. Do you know what a jet wrench 3-ply short stick is?
No,
Vince?
you Googled it, have you?
I haven't actually. I've meant to, but I didn't actually get around to it. So.
Okay,
sounds like you just made it up.
I think they might have been just put a load of words together.
But then like the flip side of that joke being, it's such the thing on the wing, the engine.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But yeah.
That's right, actually.
Did you ever get into a situation like we were talking about really, equipment and you can name off like model numbers and everything, like this is the MX-12 14, and then you forget the name. Like what's that thing you use? You point and it picks up the picture and it records. What is that thing? Yeah, it's got a square bit of glass in the front of it. So it's some human brain, Bit of it.
There's a few good quotes now. The whole I think I should get the parachute because I'm great.
I thought that was going to be quote of the show.
All right, okay, yeah. Well, I might actually,
I'll
because I've always loved that. That one sticks out in my head.
Yeah. But what did the guy who's sitting beside Jack?
Oh, the other one is like, I don't want the parachute. Give it to him.
Yeah.
It's one of those quotes where it's like, when you play it and when you hear it in your head, you hear it exactly the inflection and
Yes,
how you know the tone of voice that they say it in. It's brilliant.
I impregnated my neighbour and then she had to flip.
No, the housekeeper.
Yeah.
Housekeeper.
I got my
Forced her
husband
to
prepared and forced her to leave the country. Yeah.
Do I write that?
Yeah, should I write
mention
that?
that?
Yeah. Well, he has just told everyone, like, so. It was
Yeah, that's true.
but speaking of essays, one of them was a drawing essay.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's hilarious.
So, what's your artistic credentials for that?
Oh no, I love it. I think it's brilliant.
It's just
yeah.
me in the nip with the dog.
With the dog. Yeah, it's brilliant.
It's just the little like it looks like a cartoon picture or something, doesn't it? It's
Yeah.
it's like something again like what you might see in a colouring book from Ladybird Pictures or Ladybird Books or something like
Yeah. It's quite nice.
Do you know what we never got an answer for? You know the nurse or the nuns kept on whacking Ted like so many times, but they didn't explain themselves right. It's just stood up.
He just stood up,
and then like so they were just being bitches, like dude.
just being dicks.
Being dicks.
Oh, like
There's
a
not
couple of
nuns.
witches, aren't they?
Sort of
Like,
a recurring thing for nuns.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
It was another one of those things where I thought we were going to get an explanation why they were hitting them in the head, but no, just
because they're assholes.
they must have so much fun writing this. Right, let's do the nuns and hitting them over the head loads and then just not explain why.
Right, I've had enough. And then she stands up. Yeah, the other nun. I was trying to figure out if that was Polly McLean.
I
Was
didn't
just
see one now.
yeah.
really big glasses.
Yeah,
that
big
kind
glasses
of obscure face.
and comic teeth was implanted, and obviously you wouldn't recognise her because Mrs. Doyle is such a disguise as well. Like.
Yeah.
I might be wrong about that, but
Do you reckon that happens throughout the seasons? They just plant different actors. And
well, it saves money, you see.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? it's one less check to write. Do you know what I mean? So, but she didn't do she wasn't in the episode until the very very end.
Yeah.
So she would have still been on payroll, like she would have still had the time off,
Yeah.
and may as well put her on the plane, like
Yeah, that's true, actually.
Yeah, so Jack is much more resourceful when it comes to picking what to do with the parachutes.
Yeah.
One for himself and one for the minibar, which is I wonder how he managed to open that parachute when it was on its way down.
Yeah.
Probably
Doesn't
did
matter.
the cart first, maybe.
Yeah, so he threw the cart down. Halfway in the middle of the air, proper Christopher Nolan stuff. This, by the way.
Yeah.
He's he opens a parachute of the cart, lets that fly, and then it opens his own.
Sounds like some Mission Impossible shit.
Yeah, exactly.
For an old
Point
man.
break.
Yeah.
Just like,
Yeah.
phew.
And then at the end of it all, he's trapped in a tree, just out of reach.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
brilliant. Yeah, it's really good.
Must be torture for him, like it's.
Drive.
Yeah.
Actually, that's earlier on in the episode, which is another really good visual gag, is the emergency button and the do not push button being exactly the same right beside each other.
And
It's classic.
expecting Dougal not to get the right one as well.
Yeah.
Or when he starts explaining to the pilot, it's like, I was on the deck of the sea cat or something like that. It's like, shh, don't mention that.
They don't even show him hitting the button. It just cuts to him
Yeah.
walking down the aisle next of all, like very.
Cameras like
Yeah.
it's so calm. No, that's us.
Yeah, he'd be a great deliverer of bad news. He'd be a great newsreader because he
Yeah.
just, everything's so calm.
Yeah. Dougal, I want you to be honest now. Did you push the button? I did, yeah.
But then when they push the emergency button,
Oh, yeah. The most important thing is to keep everybody calm.
Yeah.
Emergency.
and see that was that was in the Simpsons as well, and
Oh, was it?
yeah, well, there was something similar where Bart pushed the button and all the oxygen masks come down, and Homer just goes, "We're all gonna die," and just sends it into complete panic, like. Yeah, so Father Cave made things a bit awkward by expressing his lifelong love.
Yes.
And again, another Simpsons did it because obviously Smithers did that to Mr. Burns.
That's right.
As well.
Yeah.
Who am I kidding? The boathouse was the time, but like they've mentioned before, they are influenced heavily by the Simpsons. So I suppose it's only
Oh,
not
they have said that.
yeah. Well, you can see a lot of Simpsons humor in the show, like can't you? And like the Simpsons is sort of a genre of humor, nearly, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Like the classic series is like they were sort of their own.
Yeah.
And there's even that episode of South Park. They dedicated a whole episode about how everything they thought of the Simpsons had done it. It's like Simpsons did it. And every idea they tried to come up with is like this was Trey and Matt like expressing their own frustrations. Like they thought they had this great idea. That was season 1, episode 8.
Didn't they have like a trained manatee to take 3 random balls that had random words on it in a pool and put it into this section, and they'd have the 3 words and be like, yeah, no, that was episode 8.
That was Family Guy.
That was them taking the piss
Was
out of
that Family Guy?
Guy.
Was it? Sorry.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
So Ted opens up to Dougal as well when he thinks he's
that's right.
in a heartbreaking sort of revelation of what's he actually is his friend. He does get a bit annoyed by Dougal, and all the while Dougal's just being really annoying, and eventually he snaps and loses his patience at him.
Yeah, that's pretty usual.
But it must be very frustrating for Ted having to talk to because
an imbecile.
It's like a 5-year-old. It's just constantly like a 5-year-old.
What I think is amazing about the show as well is that like Ted, like he's always getting frustrated with Dougal, but Ted's an idiot as well. Like you know, Ted's not that smart. He just Dougal makes him look
even
like
worse.
Like he actually is. But like that happens all the time. Where Ted just does the stupidest things, and then he gets frustrated with Dougal because Dougal's stupid. You're kind of like, I think Ted thinks he's smarter than he actually is.
Well, I think he's smarter than the situation he's in, or he feels like he's got ideas above his station, and he really doesn't like where he is. But no, I know what you mean. Yeah, he does just sort of walk into insulting blind people. What are you, blind?
Well, we've said it before. It's like he typically takes a situation and he escalates it further himself. He makes it worse than what it is.
This just makes it worse.
You know, the perfect example that I always come back to is when he's lying and Dougal's shutting down all his lies basically. And he's just constantly trying to come up with another lie instead of just admitting defeat and just going, alright,
Exactly. He just digs the lie hole as we.
Exactly. But that's where I'd say like that's why he's stupid, because he just doesn't know when to stop.
When to pull himself back up.
Yeah. It's funny because Ted, like deep down he does want to be a priest, but I'd say 60% of him wants to be just out partying and.
Exactly.
Going out women and all.
Well, we come up with the revelation that he meant to be a gambling addict. Because every fantasy he has, he's in casinos. He's chucking money. So he's got the women all around him. So maybe he should have been a Protestant priest, a vicar. Because at least he'd be allowed to get married.
I think that would be the solution to his problem.
Yeah. They're always up to no good, them Protestants.
They should write a Protestant equivalent of Father Ted.
Well, see, there is a few ones on the BBC about vicars. There's Vicar of Dibley. There's also Rev, which I haven't seen, but I've spoken highly of.
I like that actor.
I can't remember his name, but I haven't watched it, but it's supposed to be quite good.
Oh, so they're already out there. I just haven't seen them.
Well, the Vicar of Dibley. Do you remember there was
that was good.
The top 10 or top 50 British sitcoms that came out number 4 or something. Which I thought was vastly overrated.
Yeah, it was good.
I never did watch it.
Wasn't that good?
No, I didn't know. What's it?
But is it one of those things where do Irish people get Father Ted more than?
I'd say
because it's localized, so would it be the same that if you know a vicar, I don't know any vicars, so I've got nothing to compare it to. Whereas I do know priests, so.
I think the difference kind of is Father Ted. It does slightly go a bit more on the weird side of things.
Yeah.
Whereas Vicar of Dibley was very grounded.
It was. It was very like Radio 4, if you want.
Yeah. Like you would never see her hanging from the wheel of a plane.
No, exactly. Yeah.
Worst thing that happened is she'd jump in a puddle and it was probably up to her neck. That was about the weirdest thing that happened then, I think.
I think I only watched one episode where they were trying to she was trying to win a chocolate bar or something. The Curly Whirlies. I love Curly Whirlies because
I think I've seen that.
But it was like Father Ted came to number 11. Now I do think
11.
Yeah. So it didn't get in the top 10, which was a big showcase, but I think that was because BBC was hosting the show.
What was number 1?
Only Fools and Horses, which I would take that as the nation's favorite.
I can imagine Faulty Towers was somewhere in there as well.
Yeah, it was top 5 somewhere as well.
I thought that was
Porridge was number 10, which
Porridge is brilliant.
Yeah, it should have been a bit higher, but
Dad loves porridge. Dad loves porridge.
Yeah. But so Ted compares the situation to being like Jeff Bridges in that movie.
What movie?
And
Focus.
Was that?
I think it was called Focus. Yeah, and it was like it wasn't one of his bigger ones.
Yeah, well,
probably a bad reference to use.
Well, they didn't even mention the name of the film.
No.
He just said,
No,
Dougal just said,
not.
"I haven't seen that one, Ted." And he goes, "Not many people have. It's a bad reference." So I was going to ask, what do you think it was?
Sorry.
So,
I have no clue what it was.
well, I went on Wikipedia to find Jeff Bridges' career.
Right.
He was in one called Blown Away in 1994 about an Irish bomber escapes from prison and targets the Boston bomb squad. So that's all I can think it might have been, because he's not really known for his action movies very much. You
Yeah,
see,
no,
so
it's not.
Jeff Bridges.
yeah, he was in Tron, it was just sci-fi, and then like a lot of romantic films, and then he was the dude, and everyone just knows him as the dude now.
Iron Man.
Yeah, but that was well after Ted, like.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Still.
He's a terrifying character in Iron Man, actually.
Well,
Yeah.
see, that's the thing,
Badass.
when you get when you're a big actor, what you want is to play a villain, because you get a massive paycheck and you get to just run with it. Whatever idea you come up with, you just run with it, and you know, it's the big paycheck that'll pay for you for the next 3 years to do like proper indie films and stuff. So yeah, so they get back to the island anyway after their big cheering journey, and Ted is still stuck to the wheel. So they had to dismantle a whole plane. They had
Put
to
it in the sitting room.
Yes.
How
We had
did
to
they get it
transport it all the way from the major airport, which we'll
Yeah.
assume that it's Shannon, because Shannon can host jumbo jets.
Yeah.
So they went to the Shannon and they transported this whole wheel into the house. They must have been really thankful for saving the day then, because
With Ted
Yeah,
still
they do
attached
that.
the
Yeah,
entire
exactly.
time as well. Yeah.
and it was really odd framing, like the camera work at the end when it actually showed him up there, because you hadn't seen the room from that angle.
And still, there was wind in the room as well.
Yeah, because his hair was
No,
a bit
no,
windy.
Oh no, he
Yeah.
was just doing that, was he?
Yeah, he was shaking him. His
Oh,
hair was
yeah,
just wind
yeah,
blown.
all right,
Wind
yeah,
swept, yeah.
But it meant that Dougal was in charge then, because Jack wasn't still unaccounted for.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, he
So-
was stuck in a tree.
He gets the phone and just drops it.
Oh, that's brilliant. It is.
Instead of putting it down. So that was the episode. That was Flight into Terror. Thoughts overall?
The title's a funny one as well, isn't it? Yeah.
I was assuming, Flight into Terror. I was thinking maybe it must be the episode. It must be an episode of The Twilight Zone or something.
Right, so it's a reference to something else.
I would imagine so.
Okay,
yeah.
yeah,
Try and find it.
Hmm?
Try and find it.
Yeah, do you actually see if there's a Twilight Zone episode or something? Because they had a Twilight Zone episode on a plane, which is again the Simpsons did, where a gremlin was taken apart
Oh, yeah.
and then the Simpsons did it on the school bus.
Is that it was like, there's something on the wing?
Yes,
But
yes.
it gets referenced in like everything.
Yeah, it probably did come from that, like, because the Twilight Zone was absolutely brilliant back in the day. Like it was the 1950s, and they were so ahead of their time. Like it's like they were doing X-Files type stories every week. But anyway, so what did you think of the episode overall? It's not a top fiver, I don't think.
Really, for me, it's one of the more iconic ones, but that's more because of the scenario.
Yeah, it's the fact
stands
that
out.
they weren't in the house.
Yeah.
And so it was visually more memorable.
Everyone can, like, as soon as I heard what we're doing, I was like, yeah. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Didn't have to think twice straight away. So maybe it's the one. It's really memorable.
Yes.
Maybe not the best one, but still bloody brilliant. Like.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a very solid episode, but I don't think it's up there with Eurovision or what was the other one we have, or down to that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Fabulous.
Passion.
Yeah. And we went through. There was a real good role for a while. There's The Plague. That was another disappointing one. But like, I think it'd be sort of top 10 rather than top 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be fair enough. Yeah.
And I mean, airplanes. You must have some horror stories in airplanes, and
No, luckily enough, I don't know how many times I've been on an airplane, but
is it not a wild pain in the arse putting band equipment through
yes.
an airplane? See, that's
And
why
they always think it's like bomb making material as well. Like they just.
just so on Belfast. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and it's we're getting better at it now, and especially with this other fella, Bright. There's loads of planes so far. So there's like I went to Switzerland there a couple weeks ago, and there was like 4 flights, and every time you go through the security, it's just another group of security. You think that you're trying to smuggle bombs on.
Oh, yeah.
But, no, I don't think I've ever had really a bad fight. Coming back from France, we were coming back from France, and there was a kid behind us who like screamed the whole way. That was that's terrifying.
Was it teething or something? Was it a baby? Like,
No,
No,
it was
no,
a little shite of a child.
No, there was a baby on the flight as well, which you can accept because, maybe their ears are popping, they don't know any better. No, there was 2 kids behind us, and the little girl wanted the seat by the window, and the mother was trying to be really strong and like, no, that's your seat and this is their seat, and she was kicking up such a fuss. You just wanted to, I think somebody did turn around and
kind of like screaming so much she was kind of choking, screaming and crying.
So half of you're kind of like half going, yeah, go on, mother, like don't give in to her, don't fall for it, and the other half of you is going, just give her the seat.
This is the vital power struggle. This is the, you know, that would be the if she relents there, the kid's gonna have it over for the rest of her life.
Screwed for life now. Yeah.
Because what the kids can see is like, look at all these other annoyed people. Mummy's annoying. If I just hold out, if I just annoy them a bit more.
God. No, but nothing bad. Bit of turbulence, but that's about it.
Yeah.
We landed in pretty windy weather one time, and it was like literally kind of like your experience, like, but the wings were literally like this, and you're just waiting for one of them to clip the ground. And I think he literally got to a point where he went, I'm close enough, and just went boom, and just like dropped the last 2 meters or something, and just got us on the ground, and we were just like
well, see, a lot of what they're doing, they can't actually see what they're doing. They're relying on the instruments for the most part, I think. Because if you think in a cockpit, like,
you can't see
all you can see is like above sort of your shoulder height, and you can't actually see the ground. So they're relying on like the mads and stuff.
So sensors and all.
So do you remember the Krypton Factor, the quiz show, and they had one of the it was on Channel 4 like back in the late 90s or the early 90s.
Oh, I loved that, yeah.
And one of the tests was you had to land a plane simulator.
Yeah.
And they would measure you by how straight you kept the plane.
No way.
And I think that's part of actual pilot training, like, so yeah. But you got to see what, you know.
But it was a proper, like, almost like a fairground ride. You know, didn't it actually?
It was a proper simulator.
Yeah,
you could see them just trembling with this joystick. It's like, sit still, would you? What do you think, Vince?
I think it's a perfect place to sort of put those free characters as well.
Yeah. Well, it's a shame they didn't find a reason to put Mrs. Doyle in the plane.
Yeah, but then what could she really? Well, she could have probably cracked up with the stewardesses or whatever, and then
exactly. Like there is, like, just put her in a situation and then see what the character would do, and go from there. Like, I'm sure she's so annoyed.
But they don't really respect her, do they? You know, like, they totally take her for granted.
Yes.
You know, so even if she did really want it and made it well known, dropping hints that she wants to go, I'd imagine they'd just be completely oblivious, just thinking about their own trip away. You know, like poor Mrs. Doyle.
Sure, you can take the bus.
She probably did.
Yeah. But she might have been at St. Patrick's Hill or something.
Yeah.
Lovely miserable time. But we'll wrap it up there then, and. Said it wasn't really a top fiver. I think my opinion was the idea was maybe stretched a bit thin. Like the entirety of the episode was on the plane, apart from the last couple of minutes. Dougal was a bit over stupid, I thought, this time. The joke was that he was annoying Ted, and Ted was trying to open up to him, but it was just like, it's just
sometimes he is that stupid, like, where you're thinking like he is mentally retarded, like.
Yeah, and.
Again, I feel like he knows what he's doing sometimes.
That he is just winding up.
Yeah. Like, he can't necessarily be that stupid. Maybe whenever, like, I know myself, see, whenever people are, like, if I get pulled in for, like, say, a warning in work or something, I'll make jokes the whole way through it, just to sort of deal with it. And maybe that's what Dougal's doing. Ted's opening up to him, he doesn't know how to respond, so he just takes the piss.
Yeah.
Plays dumb.
Yeah, it's just the comedy escapism or something. Yeah.
I like the way they kind of tiptoe around, because there was a declaration of love already in the episode. So Ted says, "I like you." You know, they'd have to open a whole other can of worms there, like, to explain, you know, like, to Dougal that he doesn't actually love him that way and stuff. I like you, Dougal.
We're good friends. Put him in the friend zone. What a dick. But no, thank you very much for coming down.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
It's been great fun, and thank you as well, Vince. And you can find us on Facebook, facebook.com/ecumenical matters. We have a subreddit.
Do it?
Well, we're on the Father Ted subreddit, so there's a discussion board on that if you can find it. You can get us directly on SoundCloud or subscribe and rate us on iTunes. But until then, thank you very much, and bless you.